This training in this workshop, which I'm running as a pilot, and Sabina, thank you so much for opening your space for us to do this, is that I've been dreaming of this since even before I moved to Pakistan, which was in 2017. I'm a big believer in that we are all conscious creators or unconscious creators of the communities we live in, of the world we live in, of the societies we live in. और हम most लोग जो हैं वो complain करते हैं कि ओह हमारी ये है हमारी ज़िंदगी, the world is like this, कराची ये है, हमारी community ये है, वो है. Most people are in a cycle of complaint without recognizing that we have the power of change within one person, because each person is creating their own ripples, and each person is creating a reality that has an impact on others. And so that saying, aap sabne suna hoga, be the change you want to see. Be the change you want to create. To me, that is a really, really powerful tool and a really powerful concept which has become part of my life mantra. Okay, I can either sit and complain, everything is out of my control, or I can say, okay, where am I at? What do I want to achieve? And what do I need to do to enable that to become a reality? And the more people stick with doing what they need to do, with their focus on what they desire, success happens. So NLP jo hai, this is a concept that was created in the 1970s in California, USA. And what they were looking at was, how do people create success in their lives? Are some people just successful? Is it just a DNA? कि आप ऐसे पैदाइशी से हुआ है? Yeah, is it something that so some people are successful, some people aren't, and that's it. DNA ka masla hai. When they did the research, they found that success is a strategy. Successful people करते हैं certain चीजें that enables them to be successful in their lives. अगर relationship में हो, work में हो, life में हो, जो कुछ भी, spiritual हो, health में हो, कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता content क्या है. Strategy is largely सबके एक ही थे. So the good, and also by the way, failure is a strategy. People who run failure constantly don't achieve what they desire, it's a strategy, and even that has similarities. So NLP gives you the power to harness the power within, to rise and become your best version. That is what fundamentally we do as NLP people. This particular program, जैसे मैंने Sabina से भी बात की है दुआ से, is a pilot. My dream was that I wanted to create a program with all of these amazing tools, because we have such an experience and evidence of just how transformative it can be. And so taking these tools and techniques and being able to share them at a grassroots level, far and wide. जैसे मैं शफक से आज कह रही थी that if you want to change society, work with the women. Now here's the thing. When one of the things they say is that when you educate a man will use his education to get funding, to earn money, which he will to some degree supply into the home. Let's talk about responsible men. Let's not even talk about irresponsible men. Okay, forget about those who do stupid things with their money. Let's talk about responsible men who have a commitment to their families. They will, a man who's educated will take the money and he will bring it home. Some will educate their children. Mostly the money will be there for them to fund the food, shelter, etc. When you educate a woman, when you give a woman, sorry, let me just cut this off. When you give a woman resources, she will translate it to her children. Educated women will have more educated children. Educated and evolved and more empowered women will empower their children. When you want to change society, work on women. It's one of the things we say, I say in sort of big, I get invited, mashallah, to big organizations and conferences to talk about this. And here's the thing, investing in women makes economic sense, because when you invest in women, you invest in their families. It gets translated into their families. When you invest, and when those that gets translated into their communities, those communities then evolve, and it actually gets translated into the economic development of a country. बहुत से examples हैं in terms of just how much the investment of women is and the benefits of it in all societies. So I'm not going to bore you with that. So this program that I've created is basically a pilot, and it's one that we would love feedback from you all as well. How can we create something that can actually, through collaboration, we can actually spread it. So we can hit more communities, more women, more people, so that we have more empowered people with resources, with tools that they can use to help themselves, people feeling more empowered in themselves. That's the thing. So, काफी साल पहले, I met somebody casually, and he goes, "Oh, you're Arya Mohiuddin." I thought, "Yes, I am." "I hear you're a one-person army." I was like, "What do you mean by that?" Because you're transforming people. I was like, "Thank you. That's the greatest compliment you can give me." And and that is what the intention is. जब आप ये resources इस्तेमाल करेंगे, they will have a way of how you change how you think, how you feel, your own meaning making, and thus your behaviors, which will then impact your outcomes, which is what we're going to be going into. So that's the intention of this 6-week program. We will be sharing certificates with everyone who attends all 6 sessions, which is a CPD, continuing professional development. So you'll all be getting recognized certificates from dynamic communications that you've attended these trainings. So that's of very high value as well for all of you. You're all professional, you're all working for Kiran. So that's essentially what it is. Now, what we're going to be doing today. Oops. Maybe just let them know that they are on mute, unmuted, and if they can mute themselves. Just ask them to mute themselves. Yeah. Okay, thank you. So, these 6 sessions, I'm here today, inshallah I'll be on the last one, are basically going to be run by Sadaf and Sundus, and I'm going to introduce them in a minute. And so Sadaf and Sundus are both professionals in their own right, and they've very generously given their time to run these trainings and these workshops, and I'm eternally grateful to them both, because one of the big challenges that I'm facing is that I just want me. And so there's only so much that one can do, and so it's part of building a bigger community as well that can actually have the ripples that we want to actually create. So I'm going to introduce them and invite them to actually introduce themselves properly. So Sadaf, would you like to come up first?
Assalamu alaikum everyone. It's lovely to be here, and thank you so much for this opportunity, for your time to be here on an afternoon and then listening to all this. I hope that whatever we are doing over here in the next sessions and today adds a lot of value to what you're already doing. As far as I'm concerned, I've been associated with a similar profession. I'm a principal of Foundation Public School, and I've been in this profession for the past 23 years. And initially started as a teacher, then for the past 14 years I'm heading the building. So I have kids, all teenagers from grade 8 till O-levels. So deal with all the challenges that they go through. A year back, more than a year, something struck that life is just going so monotonous with whatever I've been doing for the longest of time. And somehow, somewhere in life, when you feel that there is no spark, there's nothing new, then comes in an angel in your life and you add that spark. So that is when I landed to Dynamics with Alia and started with the basic initial program of practitioner. This whole concept that Alia has just put in a nutshell right now is way more bigger, broader, wider than can be explained in words right now. It's an experiential learning that one goes through. So it's not just the content, it's not just the techniques, it's not just the tools, it's the experience that you dive in. The more you lean in, the more you put yourself in, the more you connect and resonate with things, the more deeper learnings go inside. So I did this initially the CV, on my own credentials, my experience, and then I can go back and help out the kids and the teachers and parents. But then I realized that's not enough. Once you just put yourself and jump into the pool, then there's more urge to do something. And then I landed up in the master's program. So this whole concept of coaching, this whole concept of using these NLP tools has all those aspects of my life that were so hidden and undiscovered. All of them were unleashed. So that is how the experience has been. I'll be talking more about it throughout the course of the next few sessions that we'll be here. Alia is generous to give the control in our hand and be away. So I hope that we live up to your expectations and to her. But all in all, it has been a fabulous journey. And as a mother of 3 kids, as I said, it's not just, I thought it's going to be more towards enhancing my professional growth. But more than that, it led to me being a better person in my own perspective and changing my life into a very different person who I am today with all that I've gone through. So every concept, every tool, every technique that was taught, there is so much for an individual to connect and so much to bring about in terms of your own personal development when you go through a program like NLP. So you guys are doing a wonderful job, and I'm sure that whatever we'll be sharing and connecting with each other, there's so much to learn from you on this platform. We're really excited. For the past 1 month, we were just back and forth talking about, how should we shape this up and how should we come here and deliver. And looking forward to something great happening in this room. Thank you. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum everyone. My name is Sundus. I'd like to talk about myself and my journey with NLP because it's been, I can't even explain how life-changing it's been for me. So 2 years ago, similar to Alia's experience, I was at a very dark space in my life. I have 2 kids, and I was just at a crossroads in my life. And at that point, I had no idea who I was. I had been a housewife all my life. I had, taken care of my kids. I was educated. I had an economics degree, but I had no idea what I wanted to do with my life. I had no idea what I liked, what my interests were, who I was as a person. I barely had friends, and this was just 2 years ago. It feels like a lifetime ago, but 2 years ago. And then I came here for the practitioner just to figure out, okay, mujhe kya karna hai? How do I let go of everything that I'm going through? And when I tell you that it's changed me as a person, I don't think you guys will understand the impact of it, but Sadaf's been with me on this journey, and they've seen what I went through, what I was like, and now what I am right now. So I am a coach right now. I have clients coming to me. I am creating those ripples in my own life, in my family, with my clients. When I see, when somebody tells me that I have had an impact on their lives. Just last night I was having a conversation with someone. The honor it is to be that person for someone, and that's what NLP did for me, and that's what it does, right? When you change the way that you're thinking, because my reality is still the same. I have the same people around me. I have the same life, all of that, but just changing the quality of my thinking, changing my interactions with people, just letting go of everything that was holding me back. It's been transformative for me. So that's what I've done. So through practitioner, through master, over the past, just the past 2 years, it's a different life now. So I hope I am able to give even a fraction of that to all of you. And I think, I think there'll be a lot of benefit to this right now. All right, thank you.
Thank you. As Sundus was saying, it's Sadaf and Sundus, as she was saying, in terms of she hadn't worked before, just life experience, whatever it is, and I have to say the sense of I can't express the joy. It's not even joy. It's pride. It's joy. It's love. It's like my heart bursts when I see just how Sundus is flying in her life. Just how she's constantly creating her this conscious movement forward and all this. It's an absolute joy. And Sadaf, of course, is already a principal, etc. And we were talking about some of the programs and workshops you're doing at the school and all. NLP, in my opinion, people say I'm an evangelist. Yes, I am. I'll admit to that. It's a game because it enables us to just let go of all of those old stories. And now we have a blank slate and we can choose to be whoever we want to be. What a gift. What a gift to transfer to others. So I'm going to just quickly run through and then I'm going to pass the floor and I'm going to invite you all to also just share a sense of who, so we all get to know you. So what is NLP? Neuro-linguistic programming. NLP looks at our thinking, the interrelationship between how we think, the words we use, and our behaviors. So the linguistics are the words we use, the programs are the behaviors that is made up of everything else, and our quality of our thinking. And each influences the other. So the reality that you are experiencing, we actually all live in a hologram. And when you do NLP, you realize how much of a hologram it is. We create our reality. We can be in the same space, something we call subjective experience. NLP looks at the subjective experience of reality. We can all be sitting in the same space, and each person will have a different opinion of it. I've met people when I moved to Paris. I said, "Oh, Karachi's a terrible place. Oh, why did you move back? Karachi's a terrible place. It's this. It's dirty. It's dangerous." And the other people I met who were like, "Oh my God, it's amazing. It's so this. It's that." Same place, different realities, and those perspectives changes. So NLP looks at how the quality of our thinking influences our language, and which influences our behaviors, and vice versa. Our language influences our behavior, the quality of our thinking, and thus our behaviors. So how do we structure everything so that we are creating something that enables us to move forward? So one of the key elements of NLP and coaching is we are an outcome-driven approach. It is very much a pragmatic, behavioral, somatic experience rather than just an intellectual thought and engagement. And so, one thing NLP is also all about is the relationship between the conscious and subconscious mind. The conscious mind is all our conscious thinking and awareness, and all of it that's happening at this level is conscious. Unconscious, subconscious, we use it interchangeably, is all the stuff that's happening under the surface of our awareness, which is actually like the engine that drives our bus. We're not aware of it. And we have a saying in NLP that the conscious mind is the goal setter and the subconscious mind is a goal getter. Our reality and how we experience the world and ourselves is an interconnected relationship between our conscious subconscious mind. It's like Google Maps, right? It's like you put in coordinates and it'll take you there. So we have a saying again that all behavior and all change is through the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind generates all behavior and all change. So as NLP people and as coaches, we're always looking at what is a change of behavior. All learning and all growth is measured through change of behavior. If there's no change of behavior, no learning has happened. Yeah. No change has happened. No growth has actually happened. Surface level आपने लोगों ने चीजें learn कर ली हैं, but if behavior hasn't changed, learning नहीं हुआ. So one of the things that we're going to constantly ask after each session is, what did you learn and how's your behavior going to change because of it? Because if you want change, your programming, which is your behaviors, need to change. If you're going to continue doing the same thing, you're going to get the same outcomes. Whatever you're thinking, whatever the high levels of awareness, thinking, thought process, जो कुछ भी है, अगर behavior नहीं बदला, तो कुछ नहीं सीखा, essentially. So as coaches, we look very much at measuring that. Okay? So before we get moving, and I'm going to invite you all to introduce yourselves as well, so we can all get to know each other. How do we create change? How do we even know it's happened? We create it by understanding where we are right now and where do we want to go? And then we look at what's the movement and where we are in relation to where we were before. So setting clarity on where we want to go. So I'm going to ask you all, and I'll give you 5 minutes to write it down. What are some challenges you may be facing right now and would like to have more resources to be able to manage them? Or what are some personal goals you would like to achieve? So let's put something down, some framework on which all that you'll be learning over the next 6 sessions you can apply to self, so it can help you move towards those outcomes. So it can be personal goals, it can be professional goals, it can be health goals, whatever. It can be interrelationship goals, maybe at intimate relationship, personal relationship, or professional relationship. It could be anything. Student, child, maybe teacher to, like a professional colleagues. It could be parent, whatever, right? So I'm going to give you literally 5 minutes. आप कुछ सोच लें and write it down. What is something that you would like to have more resources around? Is there some area that you're struggling in right now that you would like to have a better outcome, or maybe it's something that you want to achieve but you don't know how? Whatever. I'm going to give you 5 minutes. आप कुछ लिख लें.
Program at Salmakar, and this is ladies only safe space, like I was telling you about. And I think you all know me very well. Also, so what I'm struggling with, I think I'm very, very sensitive. So I need to be a little more emotionally stable, I think.
Okay.
So it's a struggle, it's a constant struggle. I've been working on it. I'm getting there, but I need to work a little more.
Yeah.
So that's all I'm looking for.
Welcome. Thank
so
you.
much. Thank
And
you.
yes, everyone please share. What would you like to achieve? What maybe interested you to come to this program, and also what would you like to achieve from it? So yeah, thank you for saying that. Sabine?
Okay, this is Sabina.
Sabina. Sabina or Sabine?
Sabina's.
Sabina. Okay.
Yeah. I've been associated with Kiran Foundation since 4 years, and just like similar stories, I also had a life-altering experience 4 years back, and I was lucky enough to land at Kiran Foundation, and again my paradigm, it was like a paradigm shift for me.
Yeah.
The perspective and the way I used to look at the things. I was in a bubble before. I was a parent and more motivated towards my home, my parenting, and seeing my friends and into my social life. And when I landed at Kiran Foundation, I was very lucky to be able to work under the wing of Sabina Khatri very closely, and it changed my life.
Oh, wonderful.
Yes.
Welcome. And what would you like to achieve from this program?
Getting better with my parenting,
Yeah.
because I see that I lack in giving them direction towards their career goals, and getting better because I'm mostly away from my children, and also my own learning and development.
Yeah, wonderful. Welcome.
Thank you.
Aapko?
So I'm Fariha Sheikh. I'm serving Kiran from past so many years, and right now I am working as an academic coordinator in preschool section. And for personal goals, I don't want to talk about challenges.
Yeah, absolutely.
So for my personal goals, I would like to focus on my power within me, and
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, that. By the way, that's all it is. It's when you harness the power within and connect to it, everything else.
so this is my air goal as well.
Oh, good. Perfect start. Welcome. जी.
अस्सलामुअलैकुम, मेरा नाम साइमा हनीफ है। मैं प्री स्कूल लाइब्रेरी कैरटेकर हूँ और मैं DCTO मदर भी हूँ। मेरे बच्चे भी वहाँ पढ़ते हैं और मेरा पर्सनल और प्रोफेशन गोल यही है कि मैं जो भी करूँ उससे मेरे बच्चों को भी फ़ायदा हो और मेरी लाइब्रेरी को भी है, क्योंकि मेरे लिए जितना मेरा घर ज़रूरी है उससे बल्कि मैं ज़्यादा अपनी लाइब्रेरी को ज़रूरी समझती हूँ। मैं कहती हूँ मेरा दूसरा घर है और मुझे सुकून मिलता है DCTO में। मैं छुट्टियाँ भी होती हैं, मैं दुआ करती हूँ, गिनती हूँ कब ख़त्म होगी।
वेलकम। मुझे भी लाइब्रेरीज का इतना बहुत मोहब्बत है लाइब्रेरीज का, और वन ऑफ द थिंग्स दैट आई लव टू डू इज एक्चुअली जब बाहर जाती हैं इधर भी लाइब्रेरीज में तो इतना sadly कम है अब, बट आई जस्ट लव टू स्पेंड टाइम इन अ बुक शॉप, and And there's something about being around books. It's something
The
so
smell,
yeah, the smell, there's a feeling.
PDF
that's
just
touching
doesn't have the
us.
same feeling. Yeah.
तो मैं बिल्कुल sorry मेरी उर्दू इतनी अच्छी नहीं है, so apologies. But मुझे बिल्कुल आपका एहसास है कि how much it is, how much the love you have for your library.
I love that office be NLP library. It's fantastic. It's a dream.
Yeah, it is. I know. I just I have a lot of books as well. So, Ji, welcome. Ji.
Thank you. I'm Sarah and I'm a preschool facilitator at DCTO. I'm here for like my personal and professional growth. I'm facing challenges like when I think about my power inside, like I think that I have power, but when it comes to action, I think sometimes I pull back myself.
Yeah.
And I'm here to learn more techniques,
Yeah. Wonderful.
which
Welcome. Welcome. Ji.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Ariba and I'm looking after here event management and volunteer engagement, as well as I am leading the Kiran Satellite Preschool, which I am replicating in my husband's school. So I'm here for my personal and professional both, or personal and professional growth. And the challenges and the goals that I have for the next year is I want to take care of myself, for my self-care.
Welcome. Welcome.
Thank you.
Madiha Sheikh, and I'm serving Kiran as deputy to chairperson. So Kiran ke saath, yeah, it's been 10 years and it's 10 beautiful years, I would say. मैं ये समझती हूँ कि मेरी लाइफ ऑलरेडी 10 साल पहले ही चेंज हो गई थी, बिकॉज मैंने सोचा ही नहीं था कि मैं यहाँ तक आज पहुँचूँगी जहाँ मैं हूँ, अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह. सो ये सब सारा क्रेडिट आई वुड गिव इट टू ईदर Sabina आंटी और Kiran.
And yourself, you did it.
Yeah.
That's one of the things we do, is celebrate also what's within ourselves.
Yeah. So जिस तरह से आप लोगों ने बताया, I think कि मैं अपने आप को इस वक्त क्रॉस रोड पे ही फील करती हूँ, एंड मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि मे बी व्हेन यू हिट 30 तो ऐसा शायद कुछ होता है, बिकॉज आजकल मैं इसको गूगल बहुत कर रही हूँ, तो मुझे आई डोंट नो, बट आई थिंक ये हम सब इससे गुजरते हैं. एंड वही जो सारे इसी को लेके जो चैलेंजेस होते हैं, कन्फ्यूजन होती है, पर्पस के बारे में आई एम वेरी क्लियर, और बहुत छोटी उम्र से आई वॉज वेरी क्लियर. किरण ने तो और और वेब्स हटा दिए हैं वहाँ से. सो वो तो दैट्स रियली क्लियर. इन NLP एक ऐसी चीज़ थी जो मैं बहुत टाइम से इट वॉज इन माई माइंड कि मुझे ये करना है, बट देन और इतनी चीज़ें होती हैं कि प्रायोरिटी में ये कहीं आ नहीं रहा था. सो आई थिंक कि नए साल में जब मैंने इसका सुना था, आई वॉज लाइक मे बी इट्स वन डॉट. सो और गोल, सो आई हैव सीन, अगर 3 डेकेड्स में मैं अपने आप के साथ रही हूँ, तो मैंने अपने हर वर्जन देखा है, अपना बहुत वनरेबल स्टेट भी देखी है, अपनी बहुत बेस्ट स्टेट भी देखी है, अपनी कंफ्यूज स्टेट भी देखी, तो डिफरेंट. सो एक गोल जो इससे है मेरा, वो ये है कि मैं अपने बेस्ट फॉर्म को आई वुड से रिटेन कर सकूँ फॉर अ लॉन्गर पीरियड ऑफ टाइम. सो
Welcome.
थैंक यू.
My name is Ramsha and I'm serving Kiran, and I'm looking after basically college and university scholarship program at Kiran. So my goal is basically, मेरा अभी तो कोई goal नहीं था, but since you started talking, it just came in my mind that I want to make relationship with my family a little better. And also why I joined this workshop is because I already believed in manifestation. Your words carry a lot of value and a lot of meaning. So that's why I'm here, and inshallah I'll achieve the goal that I have.
Inshallah. Absolutely. It's all about intention. Yeah. Welcome.
I am Aksa Mahmood Alam and I am serving Kiran as Mental Health and Wellbeing Associate. It's been 7 months I'm serving here at Kiran, and if I talk about my personal goals, so first of all it is that I have to boost up my confidence level, and the other thing is that the challenge that I am facing is that I want to reconnect to myself. So I want to work on that.
Nice. Welcome. Ji.
that was mine.
It's everybody's goal.
Yeah, Abda Vaid here. I'm the vice principal at DCTO campus, and I'm serving with Kiran since so many years.
Yeah.
So
17.
Wow.
I want to improve my parenting and I want to reconnect from myself so I can achieve my goals.
Welcome. Lovely to have you.
I've been connected with Kiran since past 3 years and it's a very beautiful journey because मैंने अपनी पढ़ाई complete करते ही I joined Kiran and life just changed about after that and working with the mothers and children it just made me feel so happy and why I joined this because NLP के बारे में बहुत कुछ सुना था बहुत सारी चीज़ें बट इसको एक्सप्लोर करना था एंड क्योंकि डेली बेसिस पे बहुत सारी चीज़ों के से आप इंटरेक्ट कर रहे होते बहुत सारे लोगों से मिलते हैं सो इस दफ़ा न्यू ईयर का गोल भी था कि अपने लिए कुछ करना है
Nice. Yeah.
दैट्स व्हाई
Welcome.
Sorry. This is Sabina Khatri. मैं जो हूँ वो तकरीबन मुझे 11 साल हो गए हैं इससे जुड़े हुए मैं जो हूँ वो 2 अलग चीज़ों को सर्व कर रही हूँ वेलफेयर भी देख रही हूँ और साथ ही साथ अब रिसेंटली मेरा एक नया रोल आ गया है जिसमें मैं ऑपरेशंस DCTO और कैंपस के जो ऑपरेशंस और डिपार्टमेंट है उसको मैं लीड कर रही हूँ सो NLP बहुत सुना था और
Mashallah.
पिछले-
By the way, मैं क्यों कह रही हूँ?
पिछले जस्ट जो मेरा पास्ट 2 इयर्स मैं जब अपना मुझे जब अपना जो प्रेजल्स मिलते हैं उसमें मुझे जो है वो जो एक सजेशन दी जाती थी कि भाई यू डू योर NLP बिकॉज कुछ ऐसी चीज़ें हैं जिनको मैं खुद भी अब तक एक्सप्लोर नहीं कर पाई हूँ और बीइंग अ सिंगल मदर also I want to learn more about that how to do control the things that the person is not present in my life so how I can achieve all the goals according to my for my child और वो बच्चे जो मेरे अपने नहीं भी हैं लेकिन बहुत सारे ऐसे बच्चे आते हैं जो मेरे बहुत इर्द गिर्द होते हैं या बच्चे तो नहीं या माएँ तो मैं उनको कैसे फैसिलिटेट कर सकती हूँ so that's why I just want to learn about the NLP और मैं बहुत दिनों से सर्च भी कर रही थी और इत्तेफाक ऐसा हुआ कि जो है वो दुबा ने डाला so thank you so much being here and thank you so much for
Thank you. Welcome to your bunch.
Right now, I cannot think anything beyond the situation I am in. So I just lost my father 4 days back, and my life has totally flipped around. While I think for the past 3 years I was working really hard towards closing the chapters of my life, working hard towards closures with the stuff that was happening in my life. Side by side, I was working on succession planning, trying to think of now to give these rest of the years to things that may be more towards self-care, towards writing, towards like now bringing down things on paper about my whole life. So my efforts were all towards closure. I was wrapping up things, and suddenly I'm in a situation where I am going back 50 years of my life and rewriting the whole story again.
Wow.
So it's like whatever was white has become black, whatever was black has become white. So the processing is very difficult, and the only thing that I'm seeking constantly since 4 days is abundance. वो कुरान में आता है मेरा सीना कुशादा कर दो, बस वही मेरे दिमाग में मुस्तकिल चल रहा है कि create more space and abundance within me to be able to take this change at 57, where I need to negate some very strong beliefs and start thinking in a very different way. going back and rewriting the whole story of my life would mean that now the destination will change. Which means if I'm going back and starting a journey all over again from zero, it might take me somewhere else. So whatever I was thinking is the destination might not be the destination anymore. And then within me there's this voice telling me, fool, this was never your destination.
Wow.
This was your destination.
Yeah.
So I've constantly been saying this to a few, when I speak to my children here, I do tell them that even though Kiran has given me a very fulfillment, that feeling of purpose, serving the purpose, yet I always feel this is not the manzil. I've said this many times too. This is just another stepping stone.
Yeah.
So it's suddenly just everything else is looking so minor now, and this new effort that I have to do, for which I'm asking for wisdom. One, because I think I don't have that wisdom. Two, light, which I think I don't have right now. I'm asking for that light. Three, more abundance, that I can do it.
Everything that you've shared, I can actually do a whole day in terms of that. And unfortunately, we don't have the time for all of that. But what you've expressed is the structure of your experience right now, and these questions that are happening, and even the perspective of black and white, again, perspectives, beliefs, also in terms of journey and goals. And while we are very goal oriented, the purpose of the goal isn't the goal itself, actually. The purpose of a goal is actually the journey we embark on to become the version of ourselves we need to be able to achieve it. So it is what is the value behind goals that is really important. It's a little bit outside the course of these 6 sessions, but just to give you perspective. I heard a really good, a great example of an explanation of NLP, which I share in our NLP training, but I'll share it now as well. It's as if you have, say for example, you've been helicoptered in and you land in the Amazon into a deep forest without anything, and you don't know where you are. You're just in a forest. You don't know where you are, and you have to get somewhere, and you don't know where that place is. Can you get there? No, you can't. You can be given a map. So you land in that same spot, and you can be given a map. Okay, that's where I need to go. But unless you know where you are, you can't get there, because you don't know where you are in relation to that goal. Or you can be given a map that tells you where you are and where you've come from. It's not going to help you get to where you need to go. Who knows where it is? Or you can have a map that tells you where you've come from and where you need to go. You still can't get there because you don't know where you are. Or you can be given a map that tells you where you've come from, where you are, and where you want to go. Can you get there? Yes. Sometimes our maps can be too busy because we don't need to know where we came from for us to be able to get to where we want to get to. We need to know where we are and where we desire to go, or where we need to go. Then we can get there. And then it's like all the things we need to do to get to that spot. So, like I said, I can actually, maybe we can have a one-on-one conversation. We can do an entire discussion on Jawab Nikai, and this is in fact what a lot of people come, this sense of this crossroads, this sense of this questioning, this sense of what I perceived to be real feels unreal, and what I perceive to be unreal feels real, and all of these dichotomies that people are experiencing. And it's what NLP does, it just enables us to let it all go, and then to take stock, go inside, this sense of finding the power within, that sense of connection to, okay, what's important to me? And what's the reason for that being important to me? We're going to be doing something called values in session 5 or something. All of that, we're going to be going into detail about that. What we call means, values, ends, values, which is a sense of what's important and why. And by achieving it, what does that serve? All of that. it enables us to align within ourselves. One of the things I say in my trainings is that we talk about spirituality and having spiritual experiences as human beings, but the truth of the matter is we're not human beings. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. We are more than just the physical body. My khala, bless her soul, she died many years ago. She's an Australian lady. And she used to say, I think she was born before her time, she used to say that our bodies are spacesuits for us to exist in this world. And so one of the things that we say is like we're on a spiritual highway and we take a pit stop off, we exit off our highway into this life because our spirit, our soul needs to grow in some way, needs to learn something, needs to give and serve. Life is not just about trinkets and all the material that we've kind of become seduced by. Life is about what is the ripples we're creating, what is that sense of our own growth and learning and a perspective of ourselves from the spiritual to the human. And then when we've done that, we exit back out, back onto the spiritual highway. And so investing in ourselves as part of connecting to that sense of self within is your greatest journey and is the greatest act of service you give your families, your communities. Because how you show up is going to have that ripple. And when we live, are we living in a world, in fact, we're digressing and I hope we have enough time for everything else. At the start of last year, I had a massive existential crisis. Bilkul crisis of meaning, crisis of purpose, questioning of everything. Yes, Sabina Khatri. And the reason was that there was all of this stuff happening in Gaza. And we have a training that's about, getting into personal development, personal power, creating your own reality. And mujhe aise laga ke, how stupid, how pathetic and arrogant an idea ke, a training, 50 people, 30 people, ya jo kuch bhi hai, look what's happening. How do you even compare? Who cares about this? How stupid, how arrogant of me and stupid of me to think that it makes any difference. Look at the way, the horror of the world that's existing in the world. So, and I had a training starting this time last year, and I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do? I myself am questioning everything. How am I going to lead a group of people when they're coming with their own doubts and I'm filled with just hopelessness? What do I do? And of course, as NLP people, we get help, which is exactly what I did. And this person that I got help with, she said, have you heard of Rumi? And I said, of course I've heard of Rumi. And she goes, Rumi existed hundreds of years ago, and look at the impact he's had on the world. He didn't have it in his lifetime, he had it after. Look at the impact he's had. I'm like, yeah, okay, I get it, yeah, I agree. What's it got to do with me? And so she said, who was Rumi's teacher? I said, Shams. And so she said, how many students did Shams have? I was like, I don't know. He goes, one. One student, Rumi. And so it doesn't matter what you think. It's the ripples you're creating. You might think it's irrelevant. And all of us, we're all here. We're all creating ripples. Kiran Foundation is creating immense ripples. But even that you can sometimes think in the scheme of things. But the ripples we create matter. And imagine what a different world we would live in if we're all consciously creating ripples that create love, connection, growth, life, rather than tearing each other apart, breaking each other down. What a difference. Liari is a great example. People all over Karachi, oh, it's so dangerous, it's so this, it's so that. And so people create these realities, and then we propagate it through our perception, our beliefs, our perspective. What a gift if we were to change that, to live consciously, live mindfully, live gently, live with purpose. Then we live closer to our true meaning. That's the greatest gift. So, on the back of that, I'm going to invite Sadaf to share the first.
It's all about ourselves. How do we perceive ourselves in the society that we are living in? You're all living very complex lives, with your professions, with your personal relations, with all the roles that you're doing. There are multiple identities that you're all carrying. Like Shakespeare said, all the world is a stage and we're all characters. So all of us as players and characters of this stage, there are so many different characters that we put ourselves in every day. So I'm a mother, I'm a daughter, I'm a wife, I'm an educator. And within those characters, there are so many identities that we carry for ourselves. So talking about identities, we just don't carry an identity in life. There's a whole story and a step-by-step procedure of psychological, deep down. Okay. So the identities that we hold, they all are supported by the belief system that we have. We're all talking about beliefs and how our beliefs keep changing. Any idea what beliefs are? What do we mean by belief? क्या आता है ज़हन में जब कहते हैं ना beliefs हैं, हमारे बड़ी strong beliefs हैं, this is what I think, this is what I believe in. What comes to your mind? What are beliefs?
I believe it's a sense of hope that we follow.
Sense of hope, what's
Set of practices that we follow.
Set of practices, okay.
Outcome of a result.
Okay.
What I feel strongly about.
Outcome
What
of
I
our
feel strongly
experiences.
about. So belief is something that is perceived by an individual and it might be very different. My belief and your belief might be completely different. It's a generalization that we do based on certain facts and evidences. So for example, dogs are dangerous animals. Is that a fact? Is it true?
It's a belief.
It's a belief. And that's my personal belief. That's my internal reality. That's my reality of the world, that dogs are dangerous animals. This is not backed up with anything as in right or wrong, truth or false, but that's something that I believe in. Okay? So similar, ladies are lousy drivers. You hear men saying that. So that's just a belief that they have created. And so on and so forth, so many other beliefs that we have, which are just our own reality that we have created. It is not backed up by any evidence of that. It might be an evidence of my life, a story of my life, that I've connected that. But people have dogs as pets. They love them. They're there in the same bed together. But for me, that's the most dangerous creature together. Is it the same? क्या लगता है डिफरेंस है कोई वैल्यू क्या बिलीफ सिस्टम हमारा बिलीफ सिस्टम हमने कहा राइट और रॉन्ग नहीं मेरी बिलीफ और आपकी बिलीफ बिल्कुल अलग होगी बट वैल्यूज आर समथिंग दैट आर कनेक्टेड टू राइट एंड रॉन्ग okay so values have that concept culturally things that we consider like empathy punctuality value of time value of health value of fit so that is something which has things that we perceive as right or wrong they are the values that we hold.
They're perceived through trial and error.
They are perceived through trial and error, tested and tried, and that comes in the society or as a culture as values of the culture. Honesty. These are all values that we see around. So every identity is supported by the beliefs and the values and then the stories of our life. So when we are talking about all these things, they're all supported by stories of life that something or the other has happened that further enforces or endorses it and we kind of make that fixed in our mind that this is how things would work. Those stories will lead to actions. That your behavior will start reflecting the initial identity. So I've always considered myself that I'm not a cuddling mother. So I've not been that expressive and I would go and hug my kids around. So that's an identity that I've been holding. And the stories, my actions, all were related to the fact that I would always hold a personal space and keep my kids away. Though I loved that, I wanted to be like that, but somehow that was an identity that I was holding. And similarly, my actions and behavior were taking in that direction. All that finally is the outcome of whatever we do. So that outcome again takes us back to the identity that over and over and over again we live a life based on that identity that we are holding. I'll try to make this more easy and simple by giving my own personal example. I have 3 kids. So I'll be talking about the younger 2. So my daughter, who's the second one, she's always had an identity that she's a very smart and intelligent girl. So known in the family, in school, in the circle that she's intelligent, she's smart, she's independent, and she's a go-getter. Why was this? because she had a belief system that my mother's a strong woman, I belong to a family where I need to prove, because she's been studying in my own school. So being the principal's daughter, the belief was I need to live up to those expectations. The values that she had, how girls of the eastern part of the world hold certain values, that their character is fragile, they need to be the best version, they are the spokesperson or ambassadors of their family. So these were the values that she was holding on to. Her stories of life revolved around all these things, and she was extremely successful in her academics, a brilliant student, doing everything very beautifully. So all those were giving her more confidence and more motivation, because all that was backing up with the identity that she was holding. As a result of that, the behavior and the actions were very positive, ready to take up any challenge in life, go forth, pick it up, anything that was there, it was never a big deal for her. And eventually the outcome is that, alhamdulillah, she's very successful, she's a goal-getter, she can, she's studying on scholarships, she's doing wonderful in her academics in terms of family chores and all, household work. She's considered as one of the sugar and, nice girl of the family, which people would aim and give regards as an ideal girl in the family. Now, nothing to do with my parenting, and nothing for me as a mother to feel great about that, this is my byproduct. So that same household, my son, the youngest, always held a very different identity. His identity was that he's irresponsible, he's a very average student, and more so towards the dumb side, so to say, in school. And like we have different students in the classroom and we consider them above average, average and below average, so in that lower category. Now the belief system that he was holding was very different, because I had two daughters and then the third one as the son. So how the grandmoms and all treat that he's the Raja Rinder of the family, badi mannat murado se aaya hai, so he's the boss of the house, and while being small he would have this concept that I'm the one who's the big boss of the family, so that kind of a thing. So his belief was that everything is right for men. So that kind of a masculine feeling, not doing anything, not being responsible, not being independent and stuff, still being a macho around, because that was his belief system, that whatever he does is the right thing, strongly supported by dad and grandmother. So his belief system was revolving around all those things. The values again were, it's a male dominated society, so, and I'm the only son, so I've got everything laid out for me. Nothing to work hard or nothing to do, everything is there. So sustainability, survival, that were his values, that I will survive no matter how things shape up. Eventually the behavior and the actions were casualness in life, would not take things seriously, just happy-go-lucky, a push, next grade level, a dhakka, get things done, support from sisters, and somehow gaadi chal rahi thi. But eventually, the outcome was that this is how he was leading his life. Because that tagline and the taboo that he had was that he is irresponsible. So how we see students in our classrooms? कि जिसको जो identity आप दे दो, वो उसी में रहना, उसी में जीना शुरू कर देता है. So if you put that label and that stereotype and that identity on a child, that you're a high achiever, they start living that identity. And similarly, if you put that taboo, this child is disruptive or naughty or any such thing, they start living in that thing. And that is what the outcome of any identity is. And that is how your life revolves around the reality that you have created just because of that identity that you have associated yourself in. And this is not something that goes on in childhood. It starts somewhere, anytime. And it will go on throughout your life. We all as individuals hold different kinds of identity in different walks of life, in different phrases and different circumstances. And the kind of identity that we hold at times lead us to behave and to respond to things in that same pattern, either right or wrong. And we never question ourselves. that is it the right identity that I have or people have given me or has been associated with me? Can I change it or not? It's just like living each day, holding it as an asset, as a belonging. कि बस इसके बगैर तो ऐसा तो है ही नहीं. Like, you know, I was holding an identity that I'm not a morning person. I had a sleeping suit which said, you know, big bold letters, I'm not a morning person. My coffee mug on my bedside table would say, I'm not a morning person. Because I've had that identity for the longest of time in my life. Mornings are not meant for me. And can you imagine? I just shared 23 years in a school as a school principal who has to start the school every morning. So 7:30 I'm there. But my disclaimer at every occasion would be, I'm not a morning person. So for me to come to school on time is a big jihad that I do every day. And you know, I would tell my husband that for me to offer Fajr prayers is the greatest thing on earth. मुझे अल्लाह मियाँ एक अलग set of अजर देंगे, आपके ही अलग है, because that's so easy for you. मेरे लिए मुश्किल है. Who said? Is it true? Where was it mentioned in Bible that I'm not a morning person? Nobody said. I created that identity for myself. And that was the reason for me to get up every morning was a task in itself. On my body, on my soul, on my mind. And I would drag that on, not just getting out of the bed. Like in the morning, my team would know, stay away from me, I spark. Because I'm not a morning person. So I'll be fresh by 9 o'clock. So days when I had my work from 9, like Saturdays, my working hours from 9, so that's an automatic, you know, auto set pe wo hai, autopilot pe chalta hai, that days, Saturdays or, you know, any such days when I'm there at 9 o'clock, I'm with a very fresh mood. Otherwise, 7:30, I'm a zombie. I'm gonna spark, stay away from me. So, you know, I'm there at the gate, I'm greeting the kids, and I'm living that life for the past 20 years. Just because I've told myself, I've told people in my surrounding, I've told my mind that, hey, you just cannot walk out of this identity. It belongs to you, it's meant for you. And that's the reason I take 1.5 hours in the morning just to, I can see that smile, I'm sure somebody's relating to it and, you know, have that connection that we just feel एक वो self pity zone बना लेते हैं. इस तरह की बहुत सारी identities हैं जो खुद ब खुद एक self pity zone बना. I'm not good at cooking, I'm not a good cook, I'm not a good driver. So there's so many different identities that we hold. किसने कहा, कब कहा, कहाँ से आया? It's all self-created. It's all it's a game of mind, your thoughts, and your thoughts will eventually lead to actions. So if you take out some time and you just get along with your elbow partner, ponder, take a minute to think about one identity that is helping you to be successful, and then think about another identity that's not working resourcefully for you. It's all in your hand. And I'm sure you will relate to a lot of such identities that you've created in life. So I'm giving you 5 minutes. Have a discussion with your elbow partner and then see how. Achievement or not a certain achievement in the classroom, and we just associate certain identities. You're not good at maths. You're not good at English. What is that creating? That's creating an identity.
I will never become good at maths. So there's no point even me trying because I'll never learn it. This is only for intelligent people. Yeah, all these beliefs हम create करते हैं. And then we create values from it, which is we might start having poor values or positive values. So poor values can be time management, poor values around time, poor value or high values around certainty. हम try भी नहीं करेंगे क्योंकि it'll mean that it'll reinforce, belief will also be I'm not smart enough to do maths. और फिर हम जाएंगे अपनी history में, which is the stories, all the memories to all the times I didn't succeed at maths. और फिर जब action होगा, it'll be something along the lines of, okay, I don't understand this, it'll be passive thinking, we will shut down our active thinking or trying to understand. We won't get help. We might get frozen in a state of okay, I'm not going to answer, I'm not even going to try. We won't get help. We will sabotage, we will procrastinate, we will do all these things. और फिर जब exam आएगा, we'll fail. And we're like, I told you I'm not good at maths. But when somebody has an identity, I am good at maths, they'll have a belief that, okay, if I don't understand now, I can understand it if I work at it. I am capable of figuring this out. This is exciting, and this is a challenge or a puzzle that I'm capable of solving. These are examples of beliefs. And they will have values around work ethic, time, excitement. People who have negative identities and beliefs are very risk averse. They try भी नहीं करेंगे because it makes them feel unsafe. But people who have positive beliefs and identity, they are much more willing to take risks because they have a confidence. And then someone who believes that I'm good at maths will go back in there consciously or unconsciously into the memory banks of all the times they've succeeded, or all the times when they didn't understand and they understood. They figured out how to do it. And so then when they come into actions, they're studying for an exam, they will be working hard, they will be not going and playing PS4, they won't be going out to party, they'll be sitting at home and studying. If they don't understand, they'll go and get help. They'll go and ask a teacher or a tutor or do something. A person who has a positive belief that I'm good at maths will have a belief that, okay, if I don't understand it, I can find somebody who can explain it to me, so I understand it. A person who believes I'm not good at maths will say, if I try, will often have a belief of, if I go to other people, that's a reinforcement that reflects that I am not good, that I am stupid, I am unintelligent. It is reflected into our lack of intelligence. And so somebody who's like, okay, well they'll do all the hard work, they will then get the outcome of success with their exam. They'll have part of their action will be active thinking, actively engaging. And then they'll have a success with their outcome. Yeah, I told you I'm good at maths. And we live this, we recycle through this in everything. अब मैं एक question आपसे पूछती हूँ. Who's somebody you have a very positive, now we're talking about identity, but a sense of, you think of somebody as a wonderful person. Okay? Whoever. Notice what are your beliefs in regard to that person. In regard to you and that person, or just that person. Think about memories, values and all, but also memories and the way you behave with that person. And then notice what is that quality of that relationship, which then reinforces how you feel about that person, which is your identity of it. And now think about somebody that you don't have, that you have a problematic relationship with. You have a difficult relationship. Anybody, right? We have these difficult relationships with people. And we perceive them as something. We perceive them, oh, she or he is this or that or whatever. But अब आप सोचें, what are some beliefs you have about that person? About your relationship with them, or possibility even of a good relationship with them or not? What are some values you're holding on to that are important to you? Maybe it's safety, maybe it's whatever it is. And then notice, what are all the stories you tell yourself? Memories, stories that you tell yourself in relation to that person that you have a problematic relationship with. And then notice, what are some behaviors? How do you behave with that person? What are some things you do? Some things you don't do that maybe you do with the person you like? And then notice what is the outcome of that relationship. I told you that person was terrible. We never experience, we have a saying in NLP, we never experience people as they are. We only experience them as we are, which is how we perceive them. We are always projecting onto other people. We can never experience anybody for themselves and who they are. Our relationship with anyone and everyone, including our children, our partners, our parents, our husband, wife, whoever, is a reflection of ourselves and a reflection of this playing out. So as Sadaf was saying just now, think about, maybe even not something that you, an identity in terms, and think about somebody you have a great relationship with, somebody you have a difficult or problematic relationship with. And then play this out. Just notice, what are some beliefs you hold in both ways? What are some behaviors that you have in both that creates our outcome? And so in NLP, what we do is we disrupt. You can disrupt at any level. So if you were to disrupt in your behaviors, how would that change the dynamic of that relationship? Teachers have this as Sadaf thing. We often have these identities of some children are problem children. And then we play this all out and we behave with them in a certain way all the time. And then we're like, well, these children are problematic. No, we've projected.
Can I also share something
Yeah, please.
controversial here?
Please.
So I had a client coming to me, and she had a problem with her daughter recently. जो ये आजकल शुरू हुआ है ना, and it's not a recent thing. It's but the overdiagnosis of things, of issues of your ADD or ADHD. There's a spectrum of things, all of those. Even that is an identity label that you put on children. So a child who 13 साल बिल्कुल सही थी, average student, getting average grades, C's आ रहे थे, B's भी आ रहे थे, she was doing okay. Suddenly, when she was अभी grade 9 में आई है, and she has been diagnosed with ADHD, and the mother is my client, and she was talking to me, and she's like, oh, it's so hard to teach her, and she's gonna struggle, and I'm dreading exams. And then I questioned that. I was like, अच्छा, last year क्या किया था उसने, exam में? She's like, oh, she studied on her own and she got a B. And I was like, okay, so it's the same child, right? And yeah, and oh no, we hadn't diagnosed the ADHD, और बेचारी वो उस time पे struggle कर थी. But अब diagnose करके क्या हो रहा है? What you've done is you've just labeled her now, and with the diagnosis you've just told her कि अच्छा आपको तो ADHD है, you're not going to be able to do well in your exam or your test, and you need help. It's the same child, same capabilities. There has been nothing injected into her brain over the last year, right? So it's just even that puts that label on a child or a person कि अच्छा मुझे ADHD, I can't do this. So thinking about that as well, which we take that as like you said, Bible, right? कि अच्छा it's a diagnosis, so I can't do anything about it. It's ingrained now. So even that can be changed. Yeah.
So in our school we use a terminology. So this is an acronym that we use for all those students who we are following up in terms of academic performance. So we call them YES cases. So YESS. It's an acronym for the support program that's there. So somehow somebody in the classroom, the kids got to know that who are there on that YES list. And one day I was talking to a child and he said, Miss, I'm a yes case, so I can't do it.
Yeah.
So like, hello?
By default.
What do you mean I'm a yes case? So he labels himself like, I'm a yes case. Similarly, one child walked in and he said, I'm ADHD, so I need that time, I need that space. And like, no, you are not ADHD. So ADHD is, so this diagnosis has made life more tough and difficult for kids, because now they associate themselves and they go through all this belief system and those values that they carry for themselves, that this is how I am, and then that strive or that motivation or that urge to do something different or better, that dies down, because that is the reality that they're living in. So coming back to the structure of reality, it's all in our hand. How we deal with people. When we were talking about the transformation through NLP, and Sundus was sharing that my reality is still the same. Nothing has changed. Going through any kind of course, going through any kind of learning, it will not change your environment. What does it changes? It changes things within you, your perception of life, your thought process. It changes what's inside us. The boss will remain the same.
The lens changes.
The lens changes. It's the perspective that you see things from. So in terms of our relationship with people, in terms of our interaction with people around, it all depends on how are we taking them, what kind of beliefs are we attaching to them, what values do we hold, and our lens will just work in that direction. Nothing will change automatically. It's a conscious effort day in, day out, whether it's about ourselves or about people around. So like Alia said, she was talking about it and I was just mentally going through, keeping the person in mind and going through all that. There's nothing, no story, no experience, no, past memory of any positive thing that was popping up. Because life was all connecting those dots. And I'm sure there might be such wonderful, times or experiences that I've gone through. But just because I channelized my mind on that direction, that it was all a no, a negative, something, that was not, I just channelized and stopped my mind that it's all about the ill feelings that I have to remember. Or
Deleted
recall.
all the positive.
Deleted all the positive. And that's impossible. And that is what we say, that when you go through this kind of a learning, when you go through this NLP experience, then you learn to switch on the reality of your world as per your own desire. Things will remain the same, but your whole world will change. Over to you,
Yeah, thank you. Externally, things will remain the same. Thank you, Sadaf. So, quick question to you all. In terms of this sense of identity beliefs, it's a really great framework or understanding that your truth is not set in stone. Who you are is not set in stone. Who other people are is not set in stone. It is a power to evolve and change the narrative, change our stories than we think that we do. This concept that Sadaf was talking about in terms of, okay, you have something about somebody and it's all negative. One thing about it, our brain, our mind, is that we're constantly deleting, what we call deleting, distorting, and generalizing. So when we have something negative, we think something negative about somebody, for example, or we think something negative about ourselves, we will delete anything positive. We just won't see it. Because it doesn't align with our beliefs. So the mind just won't even pick it up. The truth is that the universe is abundant. In fact, science shows that the universe is still growing. So the truth is there's abundance around. But some people are able to harness the abundance because of their mindset, not necessarily external factors. And we will put things like, they have opportunities that I don't, they're richer than I am, they know people I don't. These are all externals. There's more than enough example of people who've had nothing, who have achieved amazing success, whether it's in wealth, whether it's in impact, whether it's whatever. And it's because, at the end of the day, at an unconscious level, this is happening. And we will then, what this does is it eliminates the concept of kismat. It eliminates the concept of us, main hu hi aisi, wo hain aise, or whatever finality statements we make. Because identity is perceived as cut in stone. But we're not. So I'll just ask you all very quickly, we've just shared this concept. It's actually a flashpoint diya hai. It's actually quite in depth and as a concept. What are some thoughts? Aapke liye kya soch ho rahi hai? What are some thoughts? What are some perspectives that are coming from you from what Sadaf shared and this reality structure of reality, of our perception of reality, structure of our experience?
It is so spot on in the moment. My middle part story has been drowned. Hence my identity, I've fallen to the ground totally, and I'm looking for a new identity totally.
And with respect and with your permission, many people come to our trainings and they say to me, I'm trying to find myself. And when we use that kind of language, because neuro-linguistic program, when we use that kind of language, that I'm trying to find myself, at an unconscious level, the framing is that I exist outside of me and somewhere. So I'm like, don't worry, it's easy. Come to the mirror, make them look at themselves. There you are. Done. And a higher quality question is, how do I want to be? Who do I want to be? Do I like who I am? Do I respect who I am? What sort of person do I want to be? What is the impact I want to have in this life? What are the ripples I want to create? What kind of human being do I want to be? And what kind of legacy and ripples do I want to leave behind? Not just external. Sabina ne bahut meaningful baat ki hai about all of this, that this is not the sum at Kiran Foundation. We often live our lives also, and aapne jo kaha tha, it's, you know, a number of highly successful people say the same thing, because Sabina in a way represents the epitome of success. But often our success is measured according to the externals. And then there's that inward journey of me beyond the externals. And sometimes that can be the most challenging, but it is always the most rewarding. It's always the most rewarding. So, thank you for sharing that. Share with me a bit more in terms of identity, in terms of beliefs, just the structure, where you notice where you have lack. Because here's the thing, lack is a mirage. Lack is a mirage. Always. अगर आप religion भी apply करें, whatever religion, doesn't matter. अगर आप religion apply करें, sense of God apply करें, lack becomes a blasphemy. Because God is abundant. Allah is abundant. There is abundance. We just can't sometimes see it because of where we're vibrating. But when we harness when we kind of start thinking about whatever, because our thoughts, which connects to our memories, or our thoughts kind of navigate through all of this, is the tip of the iceberg. It's the surface. And we just take it as reality, as truth. But when we explore, ये क्या हो रहा है नीचे से, इस thought के नीचे क्या हो रहा है, then we are able to create transformation. Because here's the thing, जो Sadaf ने कहा था, beliefs. What are beliefs? Beliefs are stories. Beliefs are made up. Beliefs are not true. And we take our beliefs as truth, as hard fact. We take beliefs as fact. So even मैं blasphemy होगी शायद, with all due respect, आप ना सोचे कि I mean it that way. But God is a belief. There's no factual evidence that God exists. We have a belief. This is a fact. It's a pair of glasses. It's made up of, and we give it a name. That's how we know it's glasses. And it's made of a certain material. Fact, data, truth. This is a plastic synthetic material. That's fact. But everything else, I'm good, I'm bad, I'm better, I'm worse, I'm jo kuch bhi hum kahein, these are beliefs. And they've been created because we are deleting all the other evidence of it being of the contrary. I'm a good person, jaise Sadaf ne kaha tha, I'm good. We will delete all the times we haven't behaved properly. We've been disrespectful or rude or bullied or being dishonest. I'm good. And we see this all the time. We see it happening right now. We're victims. So we will go and do whatever we want. We're the victims. People want to kill us. People want to annihilate us. Yeah. Pura life experience, the human experience is this. And the moment we understand that, we start the process of harnessing our power. So please share with me some more thoughts that are coming to you. Sorry, you are kuch kehne wali thi.
Belief is not 100% true. But what about the identity? If someone has ADHD, that is true.
Yeah.
You cannot deny it.
Yeah.
So somehow it is affecting the outcome. Even if we do not consider it, अगर हम ना करें कि चलो मेरे actions जो हैं वो completely ADHD पे नहीं हो. But still there is a factor of it. So how do we completely negate that कि exist ही नहीं करता?
I have ADHD, and is a sense of so I have ADHD. We can create beliefs. I can't do this. I can't do that. But as Sundus was saying, that child had a different experience the year before than this child is potentially having now. The parents' perception of the child is different than it is now. I'll give you an example. I had a client who had schizophrenia. Now we don't work with, I wasn't working with the schizophrenia. I was working with this person because they were highly depressed and they were not being able to achieve much. But this person, and they got diagnosed with schizophrenia at whatever age. I said, but hang on, you went to university. while you had it, even though it wasn't diagnosed, but the evidence was there. You got married, got divorced too, but hey, got married. You had a job while you had schizophrenia. So it's not schizophrenia that's the cause of this experience that you're having right now. This is you've made up that. So you can still have a different experience. So when we say the ADHD is, again, it's an overdiagnosis that that is happening in the world we live in today. What is ADHD? It's not clear, right? And so the problem with diagnosing clinical depression is another great one. Oh, I have clinical depression. I am clinically depressed. Becomes an identity. And then we continually behave in certain ways. Clinical depression is just a sense of certain criteria you tick. It's not even, there's nothing to it. It's just that we need to label. And then we create the sense of who we are. And then we create these brackets about how we are and what we can and can't do based on that. But the human experience is multifaceted, multi-textured, multicolored. And we can do stuff way beyond people with far greater issues than, say, what's his name? Richard Branson, Richard Branson ka shayad suna hai. Richard Branson is this British businessman. He's got so many businesses. He's a multi-millionaire, billionaire. He dropped out of school at 15 because he had dyslexia and ADHD. He didn't even finish high school.
There's so many examples.
So many examples.
I am constantly thinking of Nick.
Oh?
Nick, the man who doesn't have arms and legs.
Yes, great
And,
example.
It's a known fact, and it's factual that he doesn't have arms and legs.
Yeah.
Everybody can see that. And it's also a fact that you swim with your limbs. So if you don't have limbs, you can't swim. And he's a swimmer.
Yeah.
And he's a speaker.
Yeah.
And he's
And successful.
success.
And so here's the thing. The fact is he doesn't have arms and legs. Yes. But the identity is I'm disabled, or the other identity that is not that, which is not I'm not disabled, I am
I'm specially able.
especially abled, I am whatever it is, right? He has an empowering identity of sense of self. He feels like I'm disabled, that's an identity. He will have, there's no point, I have no arms and legs, fact, I can't do anything, I'll never succeed, I'm helpless, I'll need help, and he would have a different experience. Perfect example, thank you for sharing that. Nick is a great example of how you can, there's certain things that can happen, yes, but the identity we create about ourselves or others, that's different.
Today something happened which is like, now that you're speaking of it, I was speaking to one of our very, very brilliant student who's made it to Japan through the World UWC, through the UWC. She's the only one child amongst 5 children who were selected from Pakistan. 4 went from CAS and 1 went from Kiran. So she's achieved to reach there. She went to YES program through the YES program she went to USA and now to Japan through the UWC program. Today she told me that her teacher has told her to get herself tested for autism. And she said that they're saying you might. And I have it on record. I'm telling her, please, look at yourself. Where are you today?
Yeah.
So if they're, don't do this to yourself.
Yeah. Good advice.
Overdiagnosing, then start believing she's in a tender age.
Yeah.
I mean, highly intellectual countries.
Yeah. And
overthinking.
It's a spectrum, right? It's a spectrum. And everyone is on the spectrum. Same thing, I have another client who came and says, oh, my son's been diagnosed with autism and whatever, and this whole, but it's like, but how has he been before? Because, okay, fine, even if they have autism, okay, so
if that is there,
if
that means they've fought it.
if they're functioning in a certain way.
Yeah.
So how we are creating our reality, which is outcome, is based on all of our reality is the product of our outcomes, and it's based on everything that it goes above it. So when we explore that in ourselves, and we explore that in connection to other people too, because we create up identities of other people too. Like I said, if we like somebody, we have a whole structure, we behave in a certain way, we show up in a certain way with them. If we don't like somebody, we have an identity about them, whole structure, we behave in a certain way, outcomes show the relationship is problematic. I told you that this person was a nice person, or I told you this person didn't like me, or whatever. And we're always doing this. And when we realize that, we are free from not taking the surface experience as truth, as reality, and realizes all of this depth and structure that we can actually influence, and we can intervene at, disrupt at, to change things. That's how change happens. It's as simple and as complicated as that. So, as I was mentioning, there's one more question. I just checked time. I want to be respectful of everybody's time. But we're always going to finish each session with this. What did you learn? And how is your behavior going to change because of it? Because without change of behavior, no learning has happened. So, can some people share with me just thoughts? What did you learn today? What are your key takeaways from today? What did you...
One, for me, that's coming up very strongly is that one very, very difficult relationship that I have, I'm going to change the lens of that. And I'm not going to do it alone. That is what my heart is telling me, because I'm going to do it with a few more people who also are in the same boat.
Nice.
Sharing the same difficult relationship with that same person.
Yeah.
So we're collectively going to give strength to each other, and the one thing that we're going to do is we're going to speak about all the positive things about that person to each other.
Yeah.
And you're going to keep saying it so that, you know,
and also, if with all respect, I would encourage you to explore what are the beliefs you hold in the context of this person, about them, about yourself, about the relationship, and challenge those. So here's the thing, as coaches, this is what we do. We look at when people, the pyramid is gone. When people talk about these challenges, we're looking at what's their identity, what's the belief, what's their identity in terms of this, whatever, what are the beliefs they have about it, what are the values, what are some stories, what are the framework of memories and references that they're using that is influencing their behavior, that's creating their outcomes. And when we disrupt, we can disrupt at action level, we can disrupt at, okay, find other options, other stories, other memories that you've deleted, but explore, what are your beliefs?
But Alia, there's another thing that's coming up really strongly, that if we don't do it consciously, nature does it. Suddenly something happens, the story changes.
Yeah.
Even if you don't want to, like nature does direct you there. It's just that maybe we are oblivious, or maybe our beliefs are so strong that we just kind of miss out on what the nature is telling us.
Yeah.
Suddenly the story flips. You can just move on and not care about it, or maybe take a pause and think what's happening.
So again, that's again the beliefs are like the filters. They're like the horses. What are they called?
Directed.
The blinkers that horses have, right? That's what our beliefs are. It's like, oh, I'm not going to see this. I'm going to see that. I'm just seeing this because that's what my belief is. And yeah, sometimes curveballs come and they kind of throw the blinkers out, and
it's
that's
a very
okay too.
confusing state.
It is
when
confusing.
these are removed, because then you see too much, and then obviously good friends, relationships, they help you.
Yeah.
And suddenly something that you've been believing for years and years and years, suddenly it's like it's just flipped around.
Yeah.
Then I think good friends, family, siblings, all the hard work that you did to have those people in your life, you realize you feel there's so much gratitude for those relationships then.
Absolutely. Yeah, thank you.
I don't know, I feel as if I was not supposed to be here today.
Oh, I'm so glad.
No, because it's just the 5th day of my father, and I didn't even know. Yesterday I just told them I'm going to try and make it. But this is so spot on.
It is.
Just
And when we realize that there's more to us than the human experience, that's a conversation for another day, but
I remember last time when you were doing this NLP course, you really tried to convince me to do it. I remember that. That was not a good time for me. And for a moment today, I'm regretting it.
We'll have a conversation. Unfortunately, we're mashallah, we're full up for the January one, but September, but we'll talk. The power of one. So my theme for this year is power of one, and that is harnessing of oneself and creating the ripples that we desire to create. So the question is, and you don't have to share it, but I'd like you to think about it, because all change is measured in change of behavior. All learning is measured in change of behavior. So as you allow what we've talked about today to sort of percolate inside, just notice how your behavior is going to change. What are some different choices you're going to make? What are some things you're going to do differently? Where are you going to question yourself, rather than the unconscious headlong into a past reality, perceiving it to be truth? Where will you create the questioning, and then allowing for different answers to bubble up? So after every session, aayega, and we'll have a
I'll just
conversation
add on
about
to
it.
this
Yes,
that when we go for these NLP sessions every day, then Alia suggests us and guides us that keep the day light, and because there's a lot that happens that does not happen here, but happens when you go home and when you ponder into all those factors.
When we have our me time.
When you have your me time, consciously and unconsciously, these things will slowly and gradually seep in. So every time we're going to end the session on these questions, but start the next session again on these same questions. And we would love to hear from you how your week has been. How have you taken all these learnings in your life? What is the change that you're bringing in?
Or noticing yourself.
Noticing yourselves, noticing your surroundings, that whatever learning is happening over here, how are you pondering and how are you responding to it? So that's the biggest outcome of the whole program, that every time when you go from here, there might be things that it's just too quick to digest, to absorb. But trust me, that the whole week, when there'll be flashbacks and you'll be thinking about it, unconsciously you will witness how things are just going in, how the dots are getting connected, how things are popping up all by themselves, not you realizing, and then that conscious awareness that comes in. So give yourself that time and space.
Yeah, well said.
So surreal that only yesterday was my first day at work after a month. So when I walked in, Faria caught me on the way. And she said, "You're not going in the office upstairs. Come meet my teachers. You haven't met them for a long time. Just 5 minutes. And those 5 minutes turned into 20 minutes, as usual. So, but what we were speaking about yesterday was the noise that is coming from outside into our children's life. And the constant applaud, the constant validation that they're getting. There is no quiet time in their brain. And this is what we were speaking about yesterday. And that is so important that we plug this into the school system. Few years back, we used to have the Saturdays, and we used to call the Saturdays intrinsic Saturdays. And the demands of the courses and the demands of everything took away that intrinsic Saturday. And we're doing other things now on that Saturday. And the intrinsic Saturday was supposed to hear the applaud coming from inside. For every little child as young as 3 and 4, to listen to it, babies, when they close their eyes and they're listening, this thing, pani ki awaaz aa rahi hai. That's what they say, gurgur aa rahi hai awaaz. That's the first thing they notice. But that, all the time, well done, good job, you came first, you did, stimulation.
And the Japanese, one of the most successful societies in the world, they still have a culture of creating this nap time and quiet time and reflection time. So it's not like, it doesn't have to take away from work. They're one of the most successful societies in the world. So I will leave you with one thing. Unfortunately, I don't have a slide for it, but I'd like you to write it down and you can answer it for yourselves over the course of today, tomorrow, whenever. What do you want to experience more in your inner world? What do you want to experience, or what do you want to feel more rather, that's a better, what do you want to feel more in your inner world? Peace, sukoon, happiness, confidence, joy, love, whatever. What do you want to feel more in your inner world? And then the next question is, what do you want to experience more in your external world?
It's so beautiful how you put the word feel for the inside and experience for
Yes.
us. It would have been the other way around. Also.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you want to experience more? And by the way, the experience happens through what we create. So most people want to experience love, for example. And it's like expecting everybody to love them. Love me, love me, love me, love me, love me. But true love is experienced when you're giving of love. Don't worry about what you get back. Just give love. If you want to experience more love, give love, 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 love to others. Don't expect anything back. Some people want, I want more respect. Then we start showing respect for yourself and for others. Trust is another big one. I want trust. I want to be able to trust people. Well, start showing trust. Start trusting yourself and start showing trust. Don't wait for it. Most people wait for it, and that's what they think. But true experiencing, the true experience of something is when we're in the giving of it, not in the taking.
Can I share about
Please.
that you were talking about? Yesterday, मेरे पास एक हमारा एक colleague है वो आया और कल ही मेरी में सबीन से यही बात हो रही थी कि believe क्यों नहीं कर पा रहा हो, वो शख्स believe क्यों नहीं कर पा रहा है. तो I said that just want to explore it कि why he is coming again and again and just giving me the thought कि अब मिस ये काम हो गया, मिस ये काम हो जाएगा, because उसका belief system is not इतना strong नहीं है जिसकी वजह से वो बार बार मेरी तरफ आ रहा है. So yeah, I want to explore that कि why people are not understand others thought, बजाय कि मैं अपनी बात उनको अपनी बात पे जो है वो खड़ा रखूं, पहले मैं उनकी सुन लूं.
That's right. Yeah, well said. Well said. And again, उनकी belief strong नहीं है in sense of self, but उनका belief strong है in lack of sense of self.
Yeah,
बहुत strong belief है.
बहुत
actually.
strong है. Yes.
And that's the counter. So we're going to leave you with this thought of what do you want to feel more in your inner world, and what do you need to do to feel more of that, and what do you want to experience more in your outer world, and what do you need to do to experience more of that. And that is as simple as things are. It's the difference that makes the difference. Life is as simple and as complicated as that. And that's a gift to realize. That's just not doing that we have the experiencing, which makes our being. So thank you, and Sadaf and Sundus. So thank you very much.